Hi, welcome back. This is Pepper from Making Comics with Pepper, and today is the coloring of Some Baby Zine Volume 3. This one's a bit longer, not gonna lie. Didn't realize how long it was gonna be. Very sorry. No, I'm not. Have fun watching 3 pages of gummy babies become colored. Alright, so let's get into this. I start off by basically going straight into the coloring, watercoloring. I want to get into depths. Each of these kids are a different flavor. I call them gummy babies for a reason. Red, Cinnamon Blast. The darker orange one, he's sour orange. Ninja Ginger is in a pot. The last one's Rockin' Mango. He's coming down the slide. In Volume 2, he's singing. So, there's that. Next one is Sublime Lime. Well, Sweet Lemon is before Sublime Lime. I should say that. Sweet Lemon. I love Sweet Lemon. And then you have Zapple Pineapple, which is with the kitty. Which is in between Sweet Lemon and Sublime Lime. And then you have Blue Raspberry with the ghost. She's a bit weird. However, Purple, even weirder. And then the last one is Floaty Yogi, which is a root beer float flavor. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is each one of these characters represents an element that anyone and everyone can have. Some Baby Zines, volumes 1 through 3, are basically talking about what type of child I'm not expecting, but possibly expecting, or not really knowing their personality, getting to know that personality, watching some parts of that personality go a little bit backwards and not come to the forwards as much. Sometimes parts of the personality all culminating as one all the time. Regardless, if you have children, you learn that as they grow, they go from this one state to having personality and then showing off that personality, and then you get to see this like base personality, and then they start growing and adding and learning and all this stuff. And so basically all the gummy babies are literally that. They are the base. They are like, what you get is what you get. Like, you know, like they only have one aspect. They're not like a combination of, you know, of one person. They're a combination when they're placed together, yes. And that's why I have 2 kids at the end, because Volume 1 was one child, Volume 2 was a possible other child, and Volume 3 is talking about whatever one I get, I'm just going to be happy to hold them. Regardless to say is, I really am involved and entrenched in this project. The reason for it being is, A, it's helping. As little as it seems like it sometimes helps, it is helping me do 2 things. One, it brings in money, the proceeds of the sales of that. Like, I take out the cost of the supplies and then the taxes and all of that fun stuff, and then I give the profits to another account, which I can only deposit in until, you know, it's time for us to withdraw for children. And that's what I've been doing. We've been setting aside the money. We've been, you know, doing that type of stuff. With that being said, there is a lot of things that can go wrong. Luckily, though, we have plans in place. We have backup plans in place. Now, moving on to the second reason why I'm actually doing this. Some Baby Zine is a single panel page comic that I do. Now, I say it's a comic. Other people will disagree with me. However, I am drawing inspiration from like Family Circus and other types of comic strips which were single image in doing this. However, you want to look at it, it's still something I'm doing for my future children or child. I don't know how many I'm going to have yet. So it's just depending on financing for adoptions. So what I'm saying is this is going to prepare me to make my adopted child a storybook about their own adoption with pictures, everything, this style of artwork, and I get to put it all together in a book specifically personalized for my child, and I get to read it to them every night. That's what this project is actually helping me do. Getting the style down and actually allowing me to think more like reading a baby to possibly maybe 5. I don't know. It's going to be one of those things of if the child likes the reading of the book, that's probably what's going to dictate it. And then at a certain point, the child will probably ask me to stop, which I'll be heartbroken, but I can't stop that. It's a process of growing up. Children say cold things sometimes. They say the darnest things, too. Yeah. Anyhow. So that's basically what this project is all about. Once I get the volumes up, I was supposed to release volume 2 earlier. Haven't, because I'm still waiting on certain amounts of funds to come in. We've had a few things, hiccups here and there. We have things ready. We're finalizing certain things for our online store. So we may be doing some pre-orders so that we can get money flowing, so that we can get those back out. I just want to say thank you for watching this process of Some Baby Zine, because it is not necessarily 100% like what people expect when parents are going through the adoption process. It's always fun to explain certain things about my process. You know, my other half explains things his way, I explain it mine. But to be realistic, it's one of those things of adoption as a process. It can be complicated. It can be very quick. It can be very easy. Everyone's process is very different. You could develop a relationship with the birth mother. You could develop knowing that the birth mother wants nothing to do with you afterwards. There's a lot of things that can happen in an adoption. You're essentially taking on the responsibility of a child, and a person has to make the hardest decision in their lifetime for giving up a child. Either for reasons that they can't go into, or they're going into, hey, I can't do this, I know I can't do this, and they know exactly why they're giving the child up for adoption. This does not make them a bad person. This does not make the adoptive parents like saviors. All it is the adoptive parents are becoming parents like they want. And the birth mother, or in some cases, both birth mother and biological father, are involved. And the one thing I have to say is they choose, most of the time, they choose the parent. So if you go through a private adoption, just know that the person who's giving that child up chooses the parent that their child is going to. And so when I'm making these, I'm trying to be as respectful to the way that my family is coming together, but also the way that I have to talk to my child about their birth family and what they did. And regardless, I have to put that in a storybook for them, for me to read them at night, knowing they are loved up by all accounts. So, thank you for watching. Sorry if it was a little bit weird and preachy and stuff. It's a big important step in my life, and I feel like I want to share at least part of it. I'm not sharing everything, but I'm sharing at least this part. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content come from me, give me a subscribe and ring the little bell so that you can get notifications. I will be back next week with a getting back to my comic book stuff, not necessarily the zine stuff. Since all of this was pre-recorded, I am in another part of the state and not even at home. So, I will see you all next week. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you again.